Hello again there, everyone. This is Randy, your sewing machine man. Again, we're looking at a Singer Stylist 457. The previous video, we changed the belt. This one, we're going to change the upper bevel gear. These things are prone to break because they're made out of nylon, some composite. They're not metal. The base is metal, but they're fastened onto. So here's the bottom. At the top is not metal. This part up here is not metal. It's bonded on there. It's plastic, and they usually don't break unless you're sewing on something too heavy and you force it, and then that breaks it off. Now, the set screw is available through this hole right here. Back in the old days, everybody thought they'd take all this off, get this front panel off, and get access. But if you're clever and you know what's going on, you put a screwdriver or the Allen wrench through there. Let's take the top off here so you can see what we're talking about. Because the gear resides right down in here, just to the left of that white drive gear. See it down underneath there? See it right there, just kind of sneaky turn in there. And you see the set screw right there. That's the set screw, and it's accessible through here. You can get a screwdriver through there and get it to that set screw. See if I can shine it on it, because if the light hits it, you know, the screwdriver will get it, but it doesn't want to cooperate. All right, well, trying to be, you know, there's the set screw. Now the set screw sits back inside there, and to get to it, you put your screwdriver through here. Sometimes you have to bring that gear around. Sometimes it'll be on the back side, but you bring the gear around. Your screwdriver is going to go right there in the slot. And sometimes that will be a slotted screw. Sometimes it will be an Allen. Look in there and go, what the heck? I don't see a screw there. What the heck's going on? And you'll see that it is a slotted machine screw today, which is almost always. You get your screwdriver in that, and you back that out. So you back that screw out. I'll show you how to do that. Now, if it's not a screw with a slot on it, it's going to be an Allen set, like so. You know, on the end of an Allen wrench, and you can't use a dinky little Allen wrench, little 3/32, because you won't be able to get it in there and reach it with any kind of breakaway torque. So we put the little one back. If you have a set screw like this, with that type. And I'm doing this for the novices. I know you people know what I'm talking about. It might be wearing you out. These people give me complaints like, we know. There's people that don't know, and they're going to need to know this if they want to do it themselves. It's an Allen set screw, and sometimes those gears will have that in place of that. And then you got to go down to the Home Depot and get you one of these big boys that go in here and slide all the way in. You'll slide all the way in and get to it. This one doesn't have it. Has a regular slotted, so we've loosened it. Now what'll have to happen is the shaft that it's attached to will have to slide down, and it's down underneath here like so. This is the main driver down here. In order to get that to come down, you have to loosen the drive belt, and this idler right here, you can take it off if you want. Sometimes just loosening it up, and it has an eccentric on it. I think I would have loosened that before, but this being my first day and all, it didn't occur to me. Let's get the right screwdriver on it, work around this camera. There we go. And you see that belt loosens right up, so then this will slide up and down. So I'm going to loosen the screw up here some more. And if you're replacing one of these, you just get the daggone gear. The gears cost almost nothing. Then the rest of it's on you. People ask me to show them this stuff, so that's why we're doing it. If you're brave enough to do this, jump right in. See, there's your set screw in there. And make sure your screwdriver is the right size so it fits flush. Got to be small enough to go through. It's got to be a good quality screwdriver, and I'm always harping on quality screwdrivers. Sometimes you get one chance at these screws, and if you deform them with a bad screwdriver, it's game over. You see the slot in there, and this is not as difficult as I'm making it because I'm working on this camera and I can't really get my big head done in there. But you loosen that set screw. You've already got it snapped loose. Now you just got to put this in the slot and back it out. There's the slot. Now it's backing out, backing out, backing out. Because it's on that shaft that goes up through. And I'm going to try to hold on to that as best I can so it doesn't come all the way out, because I don't want it to fall down inside the motor. That's pretty loose. That thing should slide out of there. If not, I'll give it another turn or two. Let's see if it'll slide out down here. No, doesn't want to slide. There it goes. So now that slid down, and that slid down. It only has to slide down this far. You see the set screws there. So it only has to slide down that far. So it slides down this far, and you go back up top. I don't like to have the gear fall down inside, then we got to go fishing for the gear. So the gear is sitting up there. It's kind of perched on a little lip. So I will take a screwdriver that's long and skinny like this. I will put it down into the center of that hole, and I'll slide it out of position. Let me get my flashlight back in here. And like I say, it's normally not this difficult. I'm going to pull this rod down underneath a little bit more down because it's just barely hanging onto the edge of it. And I got my screwdriver up in the top, hanging onto that gear so it doesn't go kerplop. Just pull it down a little bit more. And it went kerplop. Well, the screwdriver did, but maybe the gear's still on the end of it. Sometimes being lucky is a good thing too. Yeah, there it is, sitting right there. The screwdriver stayed a hold of it so it didn't fall down inside. So there's the gear right there on the end of my screwdriver. Right there. So it didn't fall down inside. So I'll get my tweezers. Gotta have some tweezers, and sometimes you can just reach in there and grab it. And sometimes it'll cooperate. And you can grab it and it'll just come right out. I've seen it happen. Not with the whole world watching, but I've seen it happen. Yikes. There it comes. And that's how the gear comes out. You can see that it's crunched. It's crunched. Crunchorama. Before it went in, it looked more like this. Alright? So what we'll do is we'll back this baby out to make sure it's not in the way of the drive rod coming back up through. I don't want to take it completely out because then you got to try to fish it through with your screwdriver, and that's not as much fun as having it in there when you put it in. So I'll back it off a turn or two so it's still got a couple good threads holding it in place. I'll make sure it's not going to impede that rod going up through there. And the fun part is holding this on that lip where it used to go in. And someone, of course, greased the heck out of this thing, which is crazy because the grease probably contributed to the gear falling apart, because when you grease them, of course, it breaks down that part that the gear is made of. It'll absolutely melt it. It doesn't help to grease plastic gears. They run dry. They run dry as a bone. And I'm gonna stick this down through there to hold that gear in place so it doesn't go sliding along. If this camera wasn't here, it'd be a little easier, but I got to bring you into the game. So I put that back in place. Okay, putting the gear back in place. Get the camera to focus on it. There's the gear. Put it back in place, and you got to get it over the hole that your drive rod is going to come back up through. But you got to push up on it now to get it to go up through there. Sometimes you get some cooperation and it'll jump right in there. That happens. And you'll know it went in there when you see on the top of the gear, you'll see in the opening where it slid up through. If it came through there properly. Sorry for all the razzmatazz here, but it's hard to do this around it. Camera. And there's the rod, but the gear is not sitting on top of that. And that happens. Thought it was being ultra cooperative, but indeed it was not. As you can see, it sits right on top of that rod right there. I'm going to pull it down from the back here, pull the rod down, because the gear has to sit flush right there. So get the gear back in place. Wow, working around this camera is a chore. I'm just going to grab my fingers and hold it like I normally do, and then push it up through, then I know I have it. That's the way I normally do it. So I'll grab it, I'll hold it in place, and then push it up through. Let's see here. Set the camera down. Shut the machine down. So there's going to be a time when I start editing these things. I've done this so many times that it's not this hard. It's just working around this goofy camera. By now, I would be tightening it down normally, but not today. Bear with me, folks. The thing is off here to the side. So I'm going to pull it out and we'll flip it over and start anew. So when I tell you that patience is one of those things you need in this business, you can have all the skill in the world, but a little patience goes a long, long way. And patience cannot be taught. It just has to, just one day you get it. One day it kind of happens. Some days I think, well, maybe I'm not there yet. And some days I think, wow, I've got this. I'll move that over a little bit. It's just a little bit off kilter. Sometimes it can be a challenge. Today is that day. Get it up over that dad gum rod. It's got to be right over it. Once you get it over it, push it up through. That wasn't it. It doesn't sound like that when it goes up through. It sounds like that when it pushes it off to the side. All right, let's try it again. Let's see. Did the gear fall out again? Well, kind of. Wow, is it always going to be this hard? Not. It might be for you, but this is like my first time, right? No, I've done this 100 times. but I've never done it around the stinking camera. Let's try it again, sports fans, and see if we can get it up into the spot. I like that better. Let's see if we can get that rod up through there. Yeah, got it that time. Well, for Pete's sake, it finally wanted to cooperate. It wasn't eager or anxious to cooperate, but sometimes that's what you get. Now I'm going to hold that rod up in place on the bottom so it doesn't slide out. And I'm going to rotate that gear around to where the set screw is. And we're going to tighten that baby down. So I'm holding on the bottom of that gear down there. I'll rotate it around to where the set screw is visible. There it is. The new gear is in. Thank you very much. And we're going to rotate it around to where the set screw is visible, so we can tighten her back down. And let's see where she's at. Right there. There she is. Put it through the slot. Get the screwdriver through. Get it around the cord for the lamp. And there's a flat spot on the shaft. There's a flat spot on the shaft. The one up through that we pushed up through. There's a flat spot, and you want to put that set screw on the flat spot. So what you make sure you do is rotate it around to the set screw is on the flat spot of that shaft that goes up through there. You don't tighten it down all the way till you get it to tighten that down only when we get it to the set screw flat spot. So leave it a little bit loose. Rotate it over. Wow. It's not the most uncooperative one I've ever had, but it's going to be in the top 2. I don't think I've ever had this much trouble, but I've never had to do it around a camera. Let's get that bad boy to line up here. Let's loosen it some more, but it's not in the slot. It's got to be in the flat slot. The slot, the flat spot in the slot that's cut out for it. It has to be there. And if it's not, it's all for naught. Oh boy. Well, it's gonna just give me fits here. Fell off the shaft again. Let's try that one more time. Sorry folks. Someone wanted to see how this is done, and I'm telling you, I tell people sometimes I do these things to show you how hard they are so you won't attempt them. But sometimes I do it and it works out, and you do it and you tell me thank you very much, it worked like a charm. And that's good. Appreciate that. set screw, and it would be right available there. And there's the flat spot right there. I don't know if you can see that or not. I don't know if the camera's doing much good on spotting the flat spot on the shaft. That spot's there. Now we got to roll the gear around till the screw is on the flat spot. I'm just going to do this because it's taking forever. I'm just going to bypass the daggone camera for a minute because we got to tighten this thing down because, you know, there's only so many hours in a day. And of course the set screw will be on the completely other side. There it is. So when I rolled that around, I made sure that the gear rotated, but I kept the shaft in the right spot so it wouldn't be off the notch. Okay, so now I'm going to tighten it down. Screwdriver through the hole. Some light on the subject is not a flashlight. Put it through there. Rotate the hand wheel back. We can line up the screwdriver. And finally, tightening down the set screw on the gear onto the shaft. Give it a couple more turns here. It's got real fine threads on it. Bring it all the way down. All the way down. Fine threads. I'm talking fine threads. You gotta really crank this baby to get it tight. And it recesses. That's why you have to have that correct size screwdriver. If the screwdriver isn't narrow enough to go into the recess where the screw goes in, it'll go and it'll stop and you'll think you're done, and you won't be done. Still be tightening. Check it again. There it is, straight up and down. Okay. Okay, got major torque on it now. It's nice and tight. So now this daggone gear is in. Good Lord, 24 minutes. That's incredible. I usually do it in 10. Never working around a camera. See, now when this turns, the gear turns, and over here, of course, the hook turns. Now it's all connected together. So now we're going to wrap this up and I'll show you how to set the timing, or else we'll have this thing last for an hour. So the next one's going to be how to set the timing